Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Concealer Fest. And today I'm checking out from Wet n Wild the MegaLast Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer. Retails for $4.99. I think it's 0.19 ounces. I will put the proper amount in the spreadsheet on geekoutofwater.com. It's such a tiny sticker and I can't read it. Old age, you guys. Comes in 8 different shades. I have the third lightest shade, which is Light Beige. This is described as an all-day wear, buildable matte, medium to full coverage concealer, so you can get sly on the fly without them ever knowing. Knowing what? Weird. This formula is your undercover agent, fully concealing imperfections without detection under sunlight or spotlight. Even better, Incognito Concealer brings skin crimes to justice. This is so out of hand. With nourishing and hydrating ingredients like shea butter, licorice root extract, and mango seed butter. Lightweight, ultra-long-lasting, and luxurious in application, this concealer has you completely covered whether you choose to work or play all day. Seamlessly blendable, richly pigmented, and also perfect for highlighting and contouring, they'll simply never crack the endless secrets of the Incognito Code. What? What was all that? Somebody got paid some money right there. Let's take a look at shade Light Beige, swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time! First up is today's concealer from Wet n Wild, the MegaLast Incognito Concealer in Light Beige. Second, I've got from L'Oreal, the Age Perfect Radiant Concealer in Ivory. Third up is from CoverGirl, the Clean Fresh Concealer in shade Fair. Fourth is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow in shade Classic Ivory. And last, I've got from Maybelline, the Age Rewind Concealer in Fair. Alright, I'm going to use fingertips on one side and a brush on the other. Looks like a typical paddle foot applicator. Let's try fingertips. Now, I'm also filming this the day that I am testing the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator, which is not quite full coverage, so we might have a coverage mismatch. You know, this looked lighter online, and this shade is probably about a skin tone match on me. So if you're going for a highlighting concealer for brightness and you are similar to my skin tone, then you might want to go one shade lighter on this one. This one's about a match on me. A lot of coverage, definitely. They're not kidding with the coverage. It does set down pretty quickly. Like, I feel it under my finger becoming matte quite quickly. So I would say this is one where you do one eye first, finish it, and then do the other. Don't swipe them both. That looks really nice right off the bat. There's our fingertip coverage. I'm just going to dab the tiniest bit. Right, I'm scraping most of it off. I just want a little dab right where I get the darkest. In that trough of my eye. You know, it's drying down matte, but it's not accentuating fine lines or anything like that. And I have some lines, you guys. My under eyes. Alright, that looks really nice. Let's try with a brush. So this is a LaRousse, the LR222. It's a mini kabuki. I got it in my last Ipsy bag, and I love it for concealer. Perfect mix of fluffy and dense. Keep the coverage, but get nice blending. This looks beautiful with a brush, too. I think it's a little more smooth with the fingertip application. Let's zoom in and take a look. I do think it's slightly more smooth in the sense that it is showing less visible lines with the fingertip application versus the brush application, but both look quite nice, quite smooth, no accentuation of lines. I think the coverage is quite good. The finish is a soft matte finish. It doesn't look dry. It blended in just fine with the foundation I already had applied. I'm liking this. The question's going to be, will it start to dry out as it dries down and accentuate lines? That tends to be my issue with matte style concealers. But right away, I really like the coverage of this, and it looks really nice on fine lines. So let's check the time. It is 1:42. Let me go put the rest of my face on. I will be right back. Okay, you guys, this concealer is looking really nice so far. As it dried down, it did not do any kind of accentuation of lines. It's not splitting apart along my lines. It's not settling into my lines. It's looking really nice. I really like the coverage, and I don't say that very often. Let's go about the rest of my day. The reason I don't do daylight check-ins for concealer is that the shade doesn't really... I don't have issues with shade matching concealer really, so the daylight doesn't tend to make a difference. But if you're ever wondering why I skip them on concealer reviews, that is it. But I will come back tonight. We will see how this one wears over time, and we'll see if anything changes. But I'm stoked right now, you guys. All right, I'll see you in a bit. 12:41 a.m. That puts us right around the 11-hour mark. Let's take a look at how the MegaLast Incognito Concealer from Wet n Wild held up. First of all, my under eyes don't feel dried out. They don't look dried out. Most of the coverage stuck around, and aside from breaking apart along a couple of my bigger lines under my eyes, this is looking really good at 11 hours. Let's zoom in and take a look. I feel like there's just the deepest of my eye wrinkles, the lines I have under my eyes, which are mostly the movement lines. They're the ones that I can just see them because the product has broken apart along them just a little bit, but everything looks just as smooth as it did. Nothing looks dehydrated. Nothing is looking crepey. Nothing has settled into those lines. I just feel like it looks quite nice. And at 11 hours to maintain most of the coverage that it started out with, I don't know how much more I can ask for. I mean, of course, I would love some more spandex-like smoothing, which this doesn't quite give the spandex effect that my glorious Charlotte Tilbury does. But this also doesn't cost anywhere near my glorious Charlotte Tilbury. Yeah, if I had to give a grade to the Incognito Concealer, this one gets an A. Pricing does not factor into my grades. It is purely based on performance for dry and maturing skin. But I will say, holy cow, we have another drugstore concealer that is going to go toe-to-toe with the high ends. The other one for me is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Concealer, and that's different from this in that it is more of a radiant finish than a matte, satin matte finish. So I'm glad about that because now I have choices, especially when I can opt for the less expensive option for my day-to-day makeup. I'm super stoked about this. I didn't even hear this was coming out. I just saw it on Ulta's website and I picked it up, and bravo, solid A, solid A. Let me know if you check it out yourself. Let me know how it works for you. There you have it. Another episode of Concealer Fest is in the books. If you enjoy concealer reviews, if you'd like to see more of them, give me a thumbs up down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Check geekoutawater.com. Click the Concealer Fest link. I have a ranked, sortable, searchable spreadsheet of all the concealer reviews I've done since I started keeping a spreadsheet. It's been about a year, so that spreadsheet, it's building up slowly. I will get more and more in there, but all the data will be saved in there. And as always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.